There are NBA greats, then there are icons, and above them all stands Larry Bird. He didn't impress you with crazy athleticism or jaw-dropping dunks. He didn't need flashy crossovers or highlight moves. What Larry had was something far more dangerous: pure basketball genius, killer instincts, and nerves of steel. Bird played the game like a chess master, always 2 steps ahead. He didn't rely on theatrics because his confidence came from knowing he was going to beat you, and then doing it with ruthless precision. Game-winning shots? Ice cold. No-look passes? Dead on. Trash talk? Delivered mid-play, mid-shot, and still buckets. His game wasn't built on hype, it was built on results. And those results earned him more than just respect, they earned him reverence. Legends like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Gary Payton all spoke his name with genuine awe. Ask any of them about Larry Bird, and you'll see how quickly the jokes fade and the praise begins. These aren't empty compliments, they're hard truths from Hall of Famers who faced someone tougher, smarter, and flat out better than they expected. This isn't just a highlight reel, it's a reality check. A living legacy told through the voices of those who battled, and often lost, against the man they called Larry Legend. Before the banners, before the finals battles, before either man became the face of basketball, Magic Johnson first saw Larry Bird during a college game. What he witnessed stopped him cold. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't showtime. But it was something far more dangerous, methodical, calculated, and ruthless. Bird dismantled the reigning college player of the year like it was nothing more than warm-ups. And Magic, already one of the most gifted players in the country, knew instantly that this wasn't just another player. This was someone special.
That boy, he can play, man. I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was player of the year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, from Kentucky. And Larry Bird was just slicing and dicing him. And I said, oh. yeah. And so that was my first time seeing him. And then to be out on the court with him in college for that national championship game. And then, of course, what happened in the NBA. But I would say that we got a chance to change the league.
And change it they did. When Magic Johnson and Larry Bird entered the NBA, the league was struggling. Arenas had empty seats, TV ratings were poor, and even the finals aired on tape delay. But the moment Bird landed in Boston and Magic arrived in Los Angeles, everything shifted. Their rivalry became the heartbeat of basketball. 2 legends, 2 iconic franchises, and 2 completely different styles colliding on the biggest stage year after year. But it wasn't just about competition, it was about elevation. Magic pushed Bird. Bird pushed Magic. And together, they dragged the NBA into a new era of excitement, intensity, and global appeal. So when Magic looks back on Bird today, there's no trash talk and no ego, only respect. Because Magic knows that without Larry, there's no Magic as we know him. And without either of them, the NBA wouldn't be the global powerhouse it is today. Then there's Gary Payton. When a player like him talks about you, you listen. Payton was one of the fiercest competitors the league has ever seen. A Hall of Famer, a defensive menace, a man who built his reputation on shutting people down and never backing away from a challenge. So when Gary Payton brings up Larry Bird unprompted and says his name doesn't get mentioned enough in the GOAT conversation, that's not just respect, that's a warning to anyone who's forgotten just how cold Larry Bird really was.
Let me tell you something. People always talk about great basketball players, and they don't never mention him to be up in that round when they made the Magics, the Jordans, the Kobes and stuff like that. But Larry Bird was cold. I don't think nobody ever could get out with him. You ask Magic. That's why Magic had a run, and he was mad when he had to retire in '92 because of what he was going to be missing with Larry Bird.
Gary Payton's frustration is real, and he's not interested in sugarcoating it. Larry Bird didn't rely on flashy dunks or jaw-dropping athleticism, and maybe that's why people who never saw him play often leave him off their top 5 lists. But if you ask the players who actually faced him, they'll all tell you the same thing: Bird was ruthless. He'd drop buckets on you, talk trash the entire time, and even tell you exactly where his next shot was coming from, then hit it anyway. To Payton, that's what greatness looks like. It's not just about stats or championships, it's about the fear, respect, and psychological edge Bird commanded from the legends of the game. And Payton's right, when we talk about Magic, Jordan, and Kobe, Larry Bird's name belongs in that same breath. Some players dominate the box score. Others dominate the moment. But Larry Bird? He dominated eras. M.L. Carr, who played alongside him, saw that greatness up close. He watched as Larry transformed from a scrappy forward out of Indiana State into a full-blown franchise savior. For Carr, Bird's greatness wasn't just measured in numbers, it was reflected in the culture he built, the example he set, and the standard he demanded. Larry didn't need to shout to lead. He simply worked harder than anyone else, with a focus and purpose so strong that it forced everyone around him to either rise to his level or get left behind.
Larry was the ultimate leader, and we all know that. But it meant a lot because you were fighting against the Lakers, and Larry and Magic had come out, really become saviors of the NBA. It was unmarketable, and they began to turn that around, and Larry was driven. He was absolutely driven, and he wanted to make sure that every player on the team was involved in the process. Larry could have scored 40 points a game. I'm convinced of that. If he wanted to average 40 points, Larry Bird is one guy could have done it.
Carr doesn't hold back when talking about Larry Bird. He knows Bird could have been a selfish scorer anytime he wanted. He had the skill, the footwork, the vision, and the full green light to take over games. But that wasn't who he was. Bird chose the team. He chose winning. And even then, he still averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds and 6 assists, often while playing through intense pain and even a broken back. He never flinched. He never backed down. Larry Bird wasn't a player who asked for respect. He earned it, night after night, through grit, toughness and brilliance. He didn't just lead the Boston Celtics, he helped revive the entire NBA. Then there's John Salley, a defensive specialist who treated defense like a religion. He was long, smart, physical, and fearless. Salley went toe-to-toe with Michael Jordan, battled Shaquille O'Neal, took hits from Charles Barkley, and survived the brutal, bruising wars of the 1980s and 90s Eastern Conference. So when a player like that admits someone gave him nightmares, it means something. And when John Salley was asked to choose between Larry Bird in his prime or LeBron James in his prime, you might expect hesitation, a pause, maybe some debate. But not John. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He chose Larry Bird immediately.
I'm going to give you Larry Bird in his prime or LeBron in his prime.
Larry Bird.
That's a quick answer.
Do you remember? I know I have nightmares. Do you? Do you have nightmares?
It's funny, but also completely serious, because that's exactly what Larry Bird did to defenders. He got inside their heads and stayed there. Bird didn't win with speed or flash, he won with precision. Every jab step was sharp. Every pump fake had a purpose. Every pass, every shot, every movement was calculated by a mind that saw the game several steps ahead of everyone else. And just when you thought you'd figured him out, he'd tell you exactly what he was about to do, and then do it anyway. John Salley wasn't watching from the sidelines. He was right there, facing Bird in the heat of competition. The fact that Bird still lives rent-free in his mind years later says everything. That wasn't just talent. That was psychological warfare. Larry Bird wasn't just a player you had to guard. He was a challenge you had to survive. And most players couldn't. Playing with Larry Bird meant more than joining a team. It meant stepping into a system of expectation. Danny Ainge learned that lesson fast. A sharpshooter and fierce competitor himself, Ainge joined a roster where talent alone wasn't enough. You had to show up, lock in, and deliver every single night, because Larry demanded nothing less. Bird didn't sugarcoat things. He didn't need to yell or call players out. His presence, his effort, and his standard did all the talking.
I got to know Larry really well, but he was a great worker, a great teammate. He told me, like when he didn't think I was taking a good shot. I tell people all the time when they start complaining, oh, the coach doesn't believe in me, or the star player on our team doesn't believe in me. I go, bro, when I played with Bird, he'd pass it, he'd get double teamed, he'd throw me the ball, but if I miss three, I'm not coming back to me.
There's something powerful about that kind of honesty. With Larry Bird, it was never personal. It was all about performance. If you could hit shots, he'd find you. If you couldn't, he'd move on. Not out of spite, but because he was there to win, not to babysit. Danny Ainge's reflection captures that perfectly. Bird's leadership wasn't about hype, speeches, or locker room theatrics. It was about standards. He set the bar so high that everyone around him had no choice but to rise to meet it. And if you didn't, the ball simply stopped coming your way. It's one thing to have a star who scores points. It's another to have a star who sets the tone for an entire team, who holds everyone accountable, no matter the role or the moment. That's why guys like Ainge didn't just respect Larry Bird, they were afraid to let him down. Some rivalries are built on flash and showmanship. But Bird's rivalry with Dominique Wilkins was built on grit and mental warfare. Dominique was electric, one of the most gifted scorers the game had ever seen. A high-flying force with flawless footwork, a deadly mid-range jumper, and the ability to drop 40 on anyone, any night. But even Dominique, the human highlight film, couldn't shake Larry Bird. Because Bird didn't just attack your body, he attacked your mind. Wilkins faced him in some of the most legendary battles of the 1980s, and the craziest part was that everyone knew what was coming. Larry would literally call his shot, explain how he was going to hit it, and then deliver. Cold, clinical, and without wasting a single move.
And so we had a mutual respect. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Larry. And I wouldn't take back the years I competed against him, man. What an unbelievable player, but he backed up whatever he said. If he tell you gonna hit a shot to a certain place, or if he gonna take you down to the post, turn around, hit a fadeaway J, he gonna do just that, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Dominique Wilkins never shied away from a challenge, but Larry Bird was something else entirely. Their 1988 Eastern Conference showdown remains one of the greatest playoff duels in NBA history. The fourth quarter turned into a shootout, bucket after bucket, neither man backing down, with the season hanging in the balance. And then there was Bird, ice cold. No flexing. No celebrations. Just pure, ruthless execution. That was Larry's edge. He could make even a scorer like Dominique, a guy who could drop 50 in his sleep, feel ordinary. And the craziest part? He'd tell you exactly what he was about to do.
I guarded his ass so tough that after the game, he came. He sent a little letter over there to me. He was like, I've had nobody play defense that hard on me.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. He go, I appreciate you playing out here. Then he was like, I got a little All-Star game. Why don't you come work out with me? Come to All-Star game, man.
That's dope.
And let me say that summer. I was like, that meant everything to me.